out. That'll be Wills with the mid rotate to try to win this 1v2 retake.
If B Wills is clutch enough here, he's pushing up towards lane. There's two players, one watching that long angle, one watching the short. And that will be the decision of B Wills walking up towards Arch or rather short position. There's two right around the corner. He has to clear out pit. That's a big issue. He's been spotted on the jiggle. Pluto just holds down mouse one to find the eventual headshot there. GGPR, I talked about how we could be inching towards a 2-0, but that's a brilliant response right there. A eco round victory, or rather force buy round victory to keep GGPR in contention on Inferno.
Yeah, favor's certainly in Triumph's favor still, but it is certainly by an inch and slowly progressing, as it looks like Triumph just decided to go for a force of their own. We're back to the good old classic force buy wars. And it looks like their solution is having 4B instead of 3. Clearly not enough players, need to go more aggressive. Start with heavy utility and just go for the fight, able to catch Lowrider with utility out, do heavy damage onto him, as well as get that initial pick on JT, and they're just rushing forward off of it until just now. And now they all have to rotate. Sexy's calling, they're all coming here. It's just the Deagle and Cold Sierra, and Geeky midair with the Mac 10 just hits him in the head. But it's still a 4v4 retake. Fair possibility at this. So they get the space to push in, especially if Soniac keeps missing these shots. Though it looks like he'll not make that mistake twice and make sure there's no room given. And Pluto will help him out, and they pick apart the entire defense trying to retake that bomb site. And able to get GGPR now in double digits.
There's a world where 60 could have mounted a defense, but the jumping Mac 10 shows him otherwise right there. And exactly right. Could be double it is double digits rather. It could be even more here. Let's look at the buy that's going to come out. Not a single thing upgraded upon, and they're just going to run it down mid with 4 players, it seems. They're just going to take the fight through USPs out. Flashbangs up to deter them, and Shaniak, he's going to have himself a shooting range here as he looks for more. Taking some damage here, and Shaniak actually goes down there. Early dismissal for him as he's not able to get some of those confidence building ecos. And now Exceed has found himself last alive. They're heading his way as well.
Yeah, might as well, because for the most part, there's not really much to do with pistols in this round. Just don't worry about having a game plan. You already feel like you have the confidence. You're a map up. This is your own map pick. Maybe a little bit of stress is coming on in, but just don't worry about it. Let them get that round, move on, and progress to the next. But looks like technical pause coming on out. Give Triumph a minute. Will be needed. Lowrider still with the Mac 10 currently. I believe both the kills he's gotten so far have been with it.
Making good use of that SMG. He's kind of slow to start, but he's able to get a couple of frags in that last round and the round before. Now, this is a rather large swing round right here. If Triumph can convert this, that'll put them back into the driver's seat. They need to maintain their composure because it's going to be a couple of gun rounds in a row before they ever get a chance to topple the economy, before they ever get a chance really to breathe a nice sigh of relief and keep GGPR at bay. They're doing a great job of trying to close it out. Now it just required a couple more to take this into overpass.
Yep, but there's one small problem getting in the way of it. Which is technical pause slowing things out.
Tech pauses. Always good to have a nice little bit of break here in the action here. Much needed breather. Triumph. Again, they need to kind of gather some composure at the moment. Not sure how long this will last here. It should be over.
Whatever it is, it's not the classic TeamSpeak has crashed. That's been infamous over the years.
Oh yes. TeamSpeak has crashed. We need some time to talk things over. Not that. Surely not. I mean, they still have 3 timeouts left, so
yeah. And this is likely no doubt it's a valid reason for everything going on.
We also got the coach of Ninja in GGPR as well. So interesting thing is that they kind of switch in between Flash Step as their coach and Ninja, and I think that he's actually got some time off of work to sub in and coach this match. So he's gonna be doing the coaching in this week as he's got some time off of work. It's exciting to see. Maybe partially the reason why they weren't not only able to best third impact in a 2-0 fashion with a roster that I was a little bit worried about, but on top of that, take down what could be a very nice map victory over Triumph if they're able to convert off of this one.
Yeah, getting this round would be certainly a way for them to confirm that advantage and start closing things out with their favor. But they still have to buy up once technical issues get resolved. But the main issue is they do have low money overall for a full buy, about 4,600. Maybe a little bit difficult to get all the utility they would like, considering GGPR have everything they want to work with. Might make things difficult. Might take some risks and fall apart quickly if they try to find some opening picks to give them the room to breathe and some advantages.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they're gonna go for here. If they're gonna play more safe or if they're gonna go more aggressively. Just no real way to tell just yet. I mean, I feel like some of their aggression has been punished. They went for that B-side stack in that previous round, and it started off nice. They found it opening frags. They were able to do good damage, but what that happened was it left Dixie alone towards B, and so he was obviously going to get overwhelmed by the aggression that headed his way, and that's exactly what happened. Just a jumping Mac 10 kill to lock that one in.
Yeah, things certainly weren't the best or whatever, but the main issue is the rotation time. Just trying to go through CT. Normally, when you go for that aggressive play, you take banana and push through to do things. But
I do have
I'll have
some
to see.
good news,
Yeah.
though. We should be getting back into things shortly. I believe that Triumph have on paused here, so we got one piece of the puzzle. We should get into the match here. Yeah, the rotations, you're exactly right. They did not come in time, and I think they kind of had the information as well. Once you kind of show your presence of 4 towards B, it needs to be much quicker that you rotate back towards A. You know the exact reaction that's going to come is just a B-side approach, like a full-on rush, and the numbers weren't there to meet the defense. That's a great point.
Yeah. The one thing is, Lowrider's still stuck to this Mac 10. You can see the AWPs in the ground for Insaniac at least, but question is if Lowrider sticks with the Mac 10 for more. But
I got
looks
the
like
other
things
half
do
ready.
have to get organized. Yeah,
Good news. Maybe soon. Those tech
or
pauses.
already, but probably complications on the organizing and making sure everything's done correctly. Which I wonder if Lowrider's going to keep this Mac 10 just because that's what he's been able to find the frags with so far. Just having a bit of a rough time.
If he does keep the Mac 10, then I want to see him kind of fly somewhere. Really use it to its full effect in terms of gaining map control. He needs to be that first man in, which is kind of what we've been seeing so far from some of these aggressive plays. But for the most part, best way to use that is flying around the corner. I mean, who told that better than 60 being taken down here? But we are on pause. We're back into the game. We'll get into this one. Second half continues here. Triumph. They're bleeding a little bit of a lead that they've had, and they're actually going for an half buy here, not fully committed to this.
I kind of agree with that. He's mentioning all the difficulty being able to get everything you need, the utility and AWP, everything you want to work with. Just get a half buy and just get that money built up to work with. Let GGPR get an even score line 12-12, like as the worst case, have a reasonable chance to fight against it, and then give yourself the best chance possible on round 25.
Makes sense. Lines up here. Especially getting 60 of that AWP as soon as possible. That'd be a huge bolster.
It's also refreshing to see a little bit more of a conservative and a long-term play. Usually see very aggressive and full dedicated plays done, especially by American teams. Usually, it feels like trying to go aggressive for those opportunities. Like Exceed, able to find that deep shot on the lowrider, but still it's just George and Will's left on the wrong bomb site. Unable to rotate, and only one pick found as the bomb goes down. Looks like GGPR will be able to convert this round. Fortunate for Triumph, they have little reason to save these, so they can just try to catch some exits or other sorts of damage on the way through.
Be a nice little exit. Pick up an AK or two. Smoke rattling off. I mean, heck, no way you go through that. Okay. Would have been rather risky here. He's got one chasing him behind. Oh, he slipped past his teammate, but Shaniak hits a no-scope. What? How does he even do that? I cannot even follow. Alrighty, I guess B-Wills is going to hold on to his armor and his deagle. That will be extra money in his pocket for the next one. That one was a little bit bizarre.
Yeah, will be a free upgrade at least, so won't be too bad. It'll save him even more, probably for that AWP. Makes sense. Be able to get picked up. Going for the AUG, actually.
Ooh. That'll be a
Sexy
little...
does have that beautiful AWP out.
Yeah, I want to see what he does, if he's going to go for any sort of aggression here. Positioning maybe shows towards apartments as he's starting to jump that way. But he just posted up here under porch. Ready for anyone that comes his way. Very patient here, but the aggression will line on in. They're throwing the utility. They're throwing quite a bit, in fact. As the smokes comes out, Flashbangs follow it up here, and he's going to have a tough time. He's solo on this position. Blinds doesn't blind him up here. Flash doesn't blind him up, rather. And the counter flashbang is good. Pluto's missing some spam. 60 misses another. Deagle's out, and eventually he'll be able to land it. Going with the Deagle once again is Pluto, but he'll be bested by Exceed. And now the spam smoke coming through. JD is fighting his way out of this situation, but the trades somehow maintain a rather decent position for the T side, 2v2.
An important shot missed by Insaniac, trying to catch that mid-rotation. He's able to get the space to go into apartments. We're just holding, and they're both going to try to retake from Arch. Just a Soniac with this AWP. Be up to him to find all these openings and opportunities. Able to re-smoke George and stop any movement from going in just yet. Beaky now sticking the plant. And that smoke's rather deep, gives plenty of room for Beaky to hold for any pushes. And decides to actually go into the graveyard position. Nasty one to have, but his position's getting hard cleared out. B-Will's able to find that trade. And more importantly, I think B-Will saw Soniac's position, but not able to win the duel despite it. Soniac faster on the pull once he peeks on out. And GGPR able to get that lead back. Probably their first, most significant lead of the series. At least this late in. Of course, had the 6-1 lead earlier.
And Shaniak with a huge clutch right there. Needed that one. He's able to pull it across the line. Now we get ever so close to map victory here, but B-Wills sends one down. Lowrider forced to watch from the sidelines now, as he's put his team into a 4v5 early on. Lacking that control as well. They're going to continue their efforts in towards this A side of things. You got to be careful on the jiggle here. Spotted out now. And they're just going to smoke off banana. This is how you want to play it in a more passive style, especially when you have a 4v5.
Absolutely. and Wills is absolutely destructive. Double mollies and an HE thrown his way, he still gets the pick and gets away with 2/3 of his health still intact. Absolutely silly. It seems Beaky is considering Will's position, but actually decides not to last second because of all this CT noise. And they just now have 3 players stacked up on B, and even a rotation cut off from Hate.
Oh,
He'll be able to call this rotation, maybe even get picks. Just waiting and able to catch just right angle, and it's delaying them from pushing, and he finds the headshot on JT with the bomb, makes it 2, taking down the Saniac, and now Pluto's left, able to crouch below the shot, making sure 8 doesn't make it 3, but still left in a 1v4, surrounded in all angles, bound to fall apart, and Sexy will be the one to take it and make sure this game keeps even 13-13 with just some measly pistols. Started off of a beautiful deagle shot in Banana.
it started off of that. Yes, you're exactly right. But some mistakes being made here from the GGPR camp at the worst possible time. We're talking that was your chance to gather 14 rounds right there, put yourself in a winning position, and they kind of struggle at the finish line right there. Pushing through that CT's or rather banana smoke was pretty rough. And then I mean, hey, there's nothing you can do when you hit steal shots like that, but from then on out, it was a 3v5. They were forced to walk into that trap of hate. So really good round to win at the perfect time here for Triumph. We'll see.
I love the aggressive call made by Beaky. It's just tragic no one was with him to actually follow it up. Just left him exposed single-handedly, and he chose the wrong angle to try to clear first and gets taken down because of it, and that's what started all this to happen. And looks like there'll be a little bit more possibility. I think Hate will be going a bit more, going for this main short anchor, cause more trouble.
Smoke out towards... Okay, that lands out towards Arches. A little angle cover here. Molotov is going to rain on out as well towards under porch, maybe? I like to see who that is. Pluto trying to play off the one-way here. And they're trying to make their way in towards A, but they're telegraphing it pretty heavily. 50 seconds left onto the clock, and you can see that there's 2 B players here in the form of B-Wills and George. They have Molotovs, they have utility. Now they don't. That one just got thrown down. The A side execute's going to come here shortly, and there's going to be a lot to defend against.
Ball is going to be heard and is going to call more info. They know everyone's crawling behind this, and Hate has this late smoke just to throw down. It's going to cause even more problems. Sexy and Seed able to find 1 each. Only 3 left. Able to find 1 pick in. Be all up to them. Lowrider trying to find a gap through the smoke, and George is abusing that smoke. It's like a one-way just for him. Just abuse how he wishes. Like Seed's just hiding here. Finally gets taken down. But Hate gives away his position, but they have to grab the bomb. There's 5 seconds. They can't win this round. It doesn't even matter. And with it, Triumph have 14. Might be able to, if they keep this round, it's going to be a broken economy for GGPR, and it's going to be the thing sealed. And looks like I called the future. As we get our familiar friend TeamSpeak causing obstruction.
Yeah, I mean, right now, GGPR have to be feeling some pressure. If this round fails to convert, it'll be dismissal into the lower bracket for them. I don't think it comes as much a surprise with the current form that Triumph are heading into this this tournament, and they and some of the more impressive recent results were able to take best of 3s off of teams like Extra Salt. So introducing Hate into introducing Exceed, my apologies, into this roster only bodes better for them, as well as Rizu had to step away for personal reasons. Now seeing him step into this roster, I loved watching him on GGPR. It's really a terrifying team to play up against, and you can see in the scoreboard as well.
That being said, though, considering how recent the swap was and everything, considering GGPR up to 13 and keeping the second map of Inferno so competitive so quickly with the changes made and everything is very impressive and a good sign to show that they've been able to adjust very well considering losing one of their best players. And they're still able to perform despite that and keep the scoreline even neck and neck the entire time on the second map. Vertigo was a bit of a different story, but always time to learn and progress.
Certainly is. And yeah, Vertigo, it wasn't as confident, that's for sure, but they are putting up a great fight, like you mentioned, on Inferno, and especially kind of working with the not necessarily shattered state. I never like to call GGPR a shattered team because they always seem to bounce back after losing some of their star players. This happens season after season. A lot of times, getting the players getting poached to better teams, such as Exceed stepping into Triumph, for example. It's nothing new here for this roster. So the key defining factor is the fact that it never seems to break them down. It never seems to keep them out of it. You know, not only just premier level, but keeping competitive in these tournaments. So the fact that they're doing so well against this team right now, super promising.
Yeah, and that gives credence to the fact of just being able to be consistent and how good the structure of the actual organization of the team is. The fact that they can bounce back so quickly from roster changes and be just as much on form as they were from just the adjustments made. It's going to be very difficult to deal with, but looks like they've been able to make the best of it. So we still wait for some technical issues to get dealt with. Be a
Oh,
very important round. We can try to look at the cash. Most of the money on the CT side being held by Exceed, but should be enough that might be a weapon or two off.
yeah, it's weird.
Trying to
'Cause
look through.
I imagine that Lowrider would prioritize getting himself more utility, as he's not necessarily IGLing that, but he's still more of a he's not going to be your star on this roster. You're looking more towards right now. It seems Pluto and Shaniak and Beaky, but I imagine he'll be buying more of a utility centric buy, even though he can afford an AK. The rest of them looking good except for Beaky. That's really only the question mark that I have right now. What is he gonna go for in this round? Because it's whatever he does try, whatever he does attempt is gonna be lacking.
Yeah. Most reasonable assumption is I'm going to be expecting George with probably a FAMAS on the CT side. With just how their money breaks down, if they want to value and actually get all that utility, Exceed's only going to be able to drop one M4, and it'll be most likely just fitting for B Wills to be the one to toss a FAMAS over, just since he already has all of his utility and weaponry purchased on up.
That's true. He could go for the no utility classic. Take a early fight maybe, but might throw it into a quick break. I'm gonna check one thing before I do. Might jump the gun here. But yeah, we're gonna throw it into a quick break here. We will be back shortly. After that, we will be finishing out this game. Stick with us. We will be right.
Spending life like we're wasting time. Only sleepless nights without a clue. Lost inside, thinking deep in time. Will your heart cross mine when I'm with you?
And we are back there. I told you it would be a short break. Didn't think it'd be that short, but I think I've kind of cursed it there by throwing it into the break. And as soon as I did that, I saw the ready messages start to pop up. We are back into things here. We're going to see a interesting buy coming through. Beaky's onto a Tech 9. The rest are looking pretty good here, but a push. No, banana? No, not quite. Push up banana coming through from the T side. And it does look like on the other side of things, B Wills and George are looking for some aggressive approaches towards banana.
Yeah, Molly forced them forward, and they're deciding to take these engagements. B Wills with a Very nice setup flash on Sandbags. Just waiting to go on out with it, but Bleaky finds the double with the Tech 9, takes full control. Sexy's able to find one, but that Tech 9's causing issues. In the midair, just completely shutting down the round, and Bleaky is single-handedly keeping GGPR in this series. Hate runs on through, finds a good headshot. But still, Beaky lives, and he wants to cause more trouble. Sexy left a 1v3. No economy left for Triumph. And he can try to go for this retake, but goes at the risk of making there even less weapons as GGPR get positioned to go to 15.
You gotta run away here, but that Molly shows that he's not ready to give this one up. He forces out the line here. He gets legged down. He's getting spammed through the wall as well. Nothing's working out, and he's gonna be forced to retreat, but he's on the hunt. He's able to find him, and there's no guns being brought into this. Triumph are going to give up 14 to GGPR off the back of Beaky with a 4K Tech 9 play. Jumping up for that third kill as well, midair. And the other two were beautiful. I mean, what can you do against that right there? Triumph are feeling a little bit nervous.
Give credit for the fact that both Beaky and Pluto have 27 frags. That is absolutely insane. Very strong performance coming on out. And it's just Deagles for Triumph. Single CZ on George. That's been enough to cause trouble previously, but they'll have to go for it once again. And that nade's going to be a fantastic way to start it. Bring JT down to 55, and George is already interested in trying to lurk further, find some more info, maybe a pick. Just wait for a potential boost. Look like he's quickly adjusting, able to throw a smoke, denying the push on in. But the Frosting Scales, he turns back at the wrong time, but still able to find one out of it. Sexy even steals the AWP from the player he frags. Not able to take anyone down with it. Or the HE find anything, but he has Hate rotating now with him. And they actually have a fair chance until that happens. And JT is able to take him down, leaving Hate in a 1v3. All these players so tagged. Just takes one Deagle shot to find any frags. Still, he has to find that shot. Could have that AWP, but isn't paying attention to JT, doesn't notice him swinging, and he'll be able to take him down from spools. And GGPR, first one to get to 15. Triumph still have a fair chance to get this map, but they're going to have to do it past regulation to make sure they close it in 2 and deny GGPR from upsetting them on their own map choice.
This is incredible stuff. You accredited Pluto, you accredited Beaky. Those two players stepping up in a big way, and Shaniak doing some same with some nice clutches as well. But this would be a huge victory for GGPR, keeping Triumph away from their own map pick. OT's the best case scenario now for them. And we'll see if Triumph have enough gas in their tank to try and get us there, or if GGPR can close us out here. As we're seeing some nade stacks down Banana. Just a little bit of chip damage. Actually, it's going to be JT taking a heavy fire in this Molotov, showing that they want Banana control as well. Follow-up flashbang. They're going to take that control here. Around the corner here, but wait things out a little bit. They slow things down, because the real play is going to be towards A at the moment.
Sexy's so dedicated on this, but he has the space. Gets the bomb carrier taking that first shot. Even able to smoke himself off short. Loses bomb reclaimed quickly after, fortunately for them. And there's a bit of an opening as Pluto gets that lurk. George is about to face an entire assault wave coming towards him. As soon as he shoulder peeks out, able to see info with that smoke. Push on through. JT's low, so he's able to find the double shot. Misses it, makes it 3. And now Pluto's left in a nightmare. 1v4. It's 3 players around this bomb. 30 seconds. No time to work with to deny Triumph from bringing this to past regulation. As Hate jumps on past, and George will close it out with a 4K of his own in response to Beaky to make sure that this series isn't over, or going over to the third map just yet.
That is huge right there, George. I was worried about the positioning. They seem to have fallen off of that B bomb site just a second too early, and it could have caused a disaster to strike, but instead they fight against it. George He didn't want to lose this map. He didn't want to take it into a third instead. He closes things out. Ties things up 15-15. Keeping things close. We'll get a little
It's
bit
only
of...
one. Yeah, it's only one thing I can be confident saying. That's things are about to get far crazier. I'm going to expect some wild, aggressive plays from Triumph on Banana. They have gone for some aggression, but overall they've been fairly relaxed with it, just going for trying to like counter the site takes and to executes or touch them specifically at car.
What is the money we're going to be starting out with? 16K is what it looks like.
The
So,
whole bank's being put in.
yeah, I mean, if that's the case, we'll have a CG side that feels no pressure. 60 will get that up every round.
Except possibly the third. I'm pretty sure. Without things break down. At least if all the rifles fully invest every round. Depends on how they handle things.
A little bit of buying coming through. Kind of hints that things getting started here shortly. A little bit of a break in the action. Again, a lot of these long and strung out pauses can take a toll on you as a player as well. You gotta make sure you keep your head in the game. Keep the fight up. Everyone reeling to go. I think that it's going to be hard for GGPR to continue to rely on only 2 players in Beaky. Pluto, I guess you do have Lowrider, or rather, and Shaniak close by as well on 20 and 22. He's had himself a great game in terms of impact. But you've got 3 players right now stepping up to the plate. You just need to have Lowrider. You need to have a little more performance from JT to try and close this game out. Those 2 are going to be required to be called upon.
I mean, you shouldn't be expecting it, but if they've done it for 30, who's telling? They can probably do it for 30 more. Seem to have the energy to just kind of just do whatever they want, especially considering that they just mid-air shot with the Tech 9 point blank. Absolutely ludicrous.
Yes.
I think Beaky can do whatever he feels like.
Very true. He's looking super comfortable in Inferno.
Looks like he's not the only one, considering George with that impactful 4K to close out regulation. Keep up the trouble. Only frag not found by him was the opening by Sexy to force them to go to that B bomb site.
Back
Important
into
to
it.
see how these teams adjust, as they should be, in a sense, starting to throw the rulebook out and the playbook as well with it and just do whatever they can. That makes sense. Or possibly doesn't make sense, but just might work. We'll have to see, as it looks like it's a fairly default play to start up. George with a very interesting molly, though. Counter smoke allowing them to get that early car control, at least try to, but it's early HEs punishing JT and Pluto. Beaky even being tagged. All these fantastic players are already getting hampered by HP deficits.
JT's even
Stop
taking
JT
more.
from lurking. Yeah.
He will still post it up towards new box. It seems like they're getting a lot of fake utility out towards B, but the real plan of approach right now, considering the fact that everyone's rotated off, is over towards A set of things. Right now, 3 players now posted up towards the top of Banana, so maybe I've spoken too soon here, as they do commit more presence in this position. Utility is looking very lacking as well for these B players here. We take a look at George, who has nothing to work off of, and only 1 smoke for B-Wills and a follow-up flashbang as well. With 45 seconds left into the round, I think you just need to get that smoke down before it's too late. B-Wills going to get that down eventually, and that's a great bit of timing right there. They might even boost up towards the top of triple.
They absolutely have the time to do it, and even more, they have the time to go for another rotation if they want. But looking at the fact they're doing this contact play, just doing a late smoke, it will set them for success, except for the fact that Wills is ready to follow up on George. rip almost 3 to the ground. And Pluto's so low. Paid through that molly in the right spot. That would be even more trouble. Sexy's prepared for the boost. Just takes down Insomniac without a care in the world, and now Pluto's left 1v3, able to dodge the shot from Sexy, but he can't avoid the spray from Seed. And with that, it'll be the first round of OT going to Triumph, able to get some AKs on their way out, even keeping 3 alive. Even though things won't be a concern with the round wins. It's always nice to have.
Yeah, 16K. It won't come at a cost of any worries there for the CT side. After winning that one round, you're free and ready to go for the remainder, and that's the case for Triumph. They'll have that first. They'll get their AKs in hand, and now it's up to GGPR to find a response in this one. You got a lot of the early momentum rolling in this first half of OT. Now you just need to couple it up, and they're going to try it with Insomniac. Post up towards the top of logs here, trying to catch a glimpse of the player in corner. Going for a wall being shot here. It's going to be certain death if Hake peeks around the corner, but in the meantime, 60 is able to find himself an opener, and he's going for more here. Flashbang just doesn't come, a little too late, and 60 is able to find a kill on the opposite side with his pistol
Just
out.
does it with the P250.
Oh, what chaos.
And look at all the burn damage that's happened across the map overall, especially JT and Insaniac have 24 HP together, and they know Beaky's in CT. Hate's already looking for him, and that's your only full HP player, and he's getting hard red and taken out of the round. There's absolutely nothing they can do. Triumph are going to be positioned 17-15. Absolute confidence, and I'm not sure what GGPR can do here.
It's not going to be much. They boosted up in towards CT. There's a smoke in hand, but that boost is just going to make it obsolete. They're going for a contact play. They know they need to just take the fight here. They know they need to swing the man advantage back in their favor. But only 1 bullet's required here. No smoke just yet. When will they finally do it? Finally now, and it might be just too late. It gives up the game here. And Shawnee slipped the gap, but not for long. B-Will's spamming through the smoke. B-Will's going to spam for another, and 17 locked in here for Triumph.
I'm imagining a lovely world where he somehow knew all the damage they were and took a move out of Beaky's playbook and just jumped into them with a wild spray to take them both out.
That'd be awesome.
But I think we've had enough silliness.
Right.
And same with Triumph. They just want to get these rounds, close it out. There's been enough fun.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think that everyone's playing on the tip-top, most serious they can be. B-Wills, it would have been fun to go for a flying M4 spray down, but he chooses a much more
that shot.
tactical approach.
And all these mollies, it's forcing Insomniac forward. He has to fight, able to find that first. But these players put in a poor position Banana. It'll be up to B-Wills to take it, but he just swings and gets taken out. And it's been a blunder as George is able to get 3. No one can break him.
He's got bomb dropped
And it's
as well.
still left an even 2-on-2. And Exceed has all the info. He literally knows where they are. Just sprays JT for free. And I'm pretty sure he's aware who's towards CT. And if he isn't, they'll at least be aware that they have the bomb and Banana.
Oh, top of mid. He's going to walk down Pluto slowly but surely going to make his way right into the edge of a smoke, unfortunately enough for him. Follow-up Molotov as well from Exceed. Can come on out. He's trying to work this. He has to make a decision. Does he want to get that smoke down, give up his position, or is he just going to wait it out? And that's going to be the case right now. Clearing a couple of angles. Now it fades away, and Exceed is going to immediately dismantle him with the finishing blow. A flawless first half for Triumph as they look to close things out 2-0.
Now we are in a situation. GGPR have to get 3 in a row on CT just to follow up and have a second chance. Fought so hard, gotten past regulation and fall apart just the last moment, and Triumph are taking it in stride. The fact that they're still moving on and in that position to be able to make sure that they close this series out in 2, but make sure it is certainly well fought on Inferno. As it seems like with every best of 3 with Inferno, doesn't matter when it is, it will always be an absolute chaotic blast of a match.
Very true. Yes, it always seems to be good for an overtime or a close matchup, and that's what we're seeing right now coming through. from these two rosters. But at the moment,
Yeah.
it does seem like GGPR have run out of steam here. Pluto unable to replicate those results despite dropping 30 kills, having himself a phenomenal game. It's just too much to call upon him. He's got a lot on his shoulders, and so far he's just not able to convert. And Shaniak in the last round tried the same, but George fires back with another heroic 3K.
The most insane thing is after the last 4 rounds, including that last round in regulation, George, the top frag was handled by Beacon, even though Pluto's up to 31. George has just gotten about 12 frags, I think. He's shot up to 32 frags now on the scoreboard, top on the server, and just doing this late round impact for Triumph and just keeping this B site intact, denying Beaky View. Or Beaky Wow. And with that being the case, just they're unable to get that B site and get those rounds. And I think George is the man to point to towards the end of the series and why things are going the way that they are.
That's exactly it there. Going to be 4 players stacked over towards the top of Banana at the moment, and an all-out brawl seems to be taking place here as well. A reposition. This is kind of what Triumph did in their CG side. But they actually do rotate back towards A in a pretty quick fashion. As now they continue to take Banana control, forced off by the retake Molotov and smoke as well. And a slowing over the approach here for Triumph is in the cards. I think they just know that there's no pressure off their back. They can kind of just play however they want, wait for maybe a mistake to come their way, and try and find an opening in that department.
And it looks like with how this round's starting to brew on up, there's not going to be a chance for Beaky View to even be the initial contribution. It's going to be up to the other 3 of Pluto and Saniac and Lowrider. So they're getting ready. They're aware, and they're going aggressive even. They might be able to catch the info of 6C, but Pluto holding that trigger discipline, able to find 1. Lowrider's able to get that trade on the second and make it 2 while at it.
He's no longer
But
an
that's when
option.
the bait and switch comes out. There's still a chance for Triumph in this round. 2v2 on this B bomb site effectively. Quad's position's red, and Hate finds the double, able to make it a 1v2. A very difficult round, but the clutch is on the cards, and Hate's ready to fold them. And Soniac and Lowrider's all in his way. And Lowrider's already looking this direction, and Hate finds him, takes him out, and Soniac is faking the defuse.
Oh, look at that.
Hate's so low HP. He just has to find 1 shot, and he's able to find that headshot. Barely keeps the dreams alive for GGPR.
Huge clutch
Hate
right there.
almost pulling that 1v4, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, very close there. He's able to find those trades on towards B. Isolated that first fight. Unfortunately for him, though, just takes too much damage to Lowrider on the inbound there in the post plant. So, unable to close it out. Another important clutch. That's what Shaniak is typically good for. A lot of these 1v1s have swung his way. He seems to do it in a consistent fashion. Still, it comes down to a 1v1 that you cannot feel confident about. Aggression up mid here from 60, dodging out on that flashbang here, but he just takes full control of that Molotov. It doesn't scare him. That flashbang, it doesn't scare him. He wants this early positioning here, and he's going to take it by storm.
Yep, but they have all this Hall's control absolutely, and I think they're just lurking out of it, and they're just able to find the space and just go. And just out of nowhere, Seed's able to stay alive because of falling. Gets legged on the off shot, moving a little too fast. And it's a 4v3 advantage on the A bomb site from just walking out of halls and just jumping out with knife out. Absolute wild move from Wills to be able to catch Pluto. And it looks like 60's ready to end this all out. So they try to throw utility to retake back in. Hate with the blind fire spray should find Lowrider. Be Exceed to do so. JT does have a chance, but has no bullets left. Running on out, and poetically, George, since the beginning of the end, will find the last frag to close everything out.
And there we are. We close things out 2-0. It's going to be Triumph taking it, and despite the great fight that we saw put up from GGPR, it just wasn't enough towards the tail, and I think they kind of ran out of steam. I think they needed to close that out in a clean fashion. It couldn't afford to go into OT because from then on out, it just looked like they had full control. There was no issues from Triumph in that last round. That A bomb site retake just couldn't come into fruition. So with that being said, that is all we have for you for this first best of 3, guys. We will be back here shortly with the second one. Going to be taking, I believe we're going to be covering Choco Check versus Eros. I'm fairly certain, and we'll be back with that shortly at 9 p.m. So stay tuned for that. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Spending life like we're wasting time. Only sleepless nights without a clue. Lost inside, thinking deep in time. Will your heart cross mine when I'm with you? Secrets worth keeping, but now all these thoughts are pouring out from my mind. 'Cause I think that you could be everything I want, everything I need. You're the one who makes me feel like you could be everything I want. Take my hand like a stolen gem. Love is so unplanned, we never knew. Secrets worth keeping, but now all these thoughts are pouring out from my mind. 'Cause I think that you could be everything I want, everything I need. You're the one who makes me feel like you could be everything I want. Everything I want, everything I need. You're the one who makes me feel like you could be everything I want. Can you feel this river running down your spine? But the water's getting cold. When the lights shine brighter, then you turn away. 'Cause the feeling's growing old. There's a bomb in the hangar that's about to blow, but you let it anyway. 'Cause the thrill is the only thing that's left to feel before the whole thing blows away. But it burns, coming alive, wishing for something real. And it hurts, living a lie, nothing is more surreal. Flashbacks coming like a movie scene. to flee. Cause the life that you got is all you're gonna get, so don't waste another day. This could be something better, this could be brand new, so get up and make a plan. Cause the next day ain't for sure